Despite work being eventful this morning, the rest of the day passed quietly. Even Tomoe kept her distance from me. I wondered if I scared her off when I casually mentioned reporting her to the police. Not that I actually would report her. That would lead to the police getting mixed up in my life, and I can't really have that considering my moonlighting occupation. Especially now that I know I have connections to Tsurumaki. I brushed my hair in front of the mirror in my bedroom. I removed my makeup and revealed the ever so faint bruise on my cheek, the fading token of my fight with Tomoe. Wasn't really a fight. She kind of just surprisingly kicked your butt for a second, and then you managed to stop her. Since tonight is rather cold, I decided to snuggle up under the covers in bed with my laptop. I crawl into bed and pull the plush blankets up over myself. The warmth and softness is immediately comforting, and I have to fight the urge not to fall asleep here and now. To keep myself awake, I check the requests on my website. I'm pleasantly surprised to find there are 2 new requests. 2 in one day. My heart begins to race, and I quickly open the messages. The first message reads, Today, 11:14 a.m. Victim's phone. Image attachment not found. No image attachment? What? I thought I configured the website to reject requests unless an image is attached. This is really irritating. I got my hopes up for nothing. It takes me a second to remember that there's another request waiting. My optimism renewed, I hurriedly click into the unread message. Request details. Today at 5:06 p.m. local time. Victim's phone. Downloading image attachment. Yes, this request has been submitted correctly. The image is loading before my eyes. The new victim is a male, early 20s. He's fit and athletic looking. His clothing is casual, so it's impossible to infer what kind of work he does. The photo of him is pretty simple. I don't know if he uses it for his Noise profile or if it's an ID photo of some sort. Either way, he looks like a happy person. I'm not so naive to pretend I can't guess at the reason this guy is wanted dead. Perhaps an ex has submitted his details after a bad breakup, or a jealous sibling wants him out of the picture. People's motivations are purely selfish. Requesting the death of somebody is guaranteed to be motivated by self-interest. So why did somebody want Tsurumaki dead? She was so plain-looking, so uninteresting. She didn't look like she was capable of even thinking about wronging someone. Wrangling them! Yeehaw. Did somebody want revenge on her? Or did someone simply find her so dull that the thought of removing her from the planet seemed appealing? I interrupt my own thoughts and return to the task at hand. Yeah, but you can have people in your life who seem great by everyone else. But they are the cruelest person to you. And because it's only you, and no one else sees it, no one else knows. Dwelling on the past victim won't do me any good if I want to continue my streak of success. This new guy is attractive. It's almost a shame to have to chop him up. For all we know, he's a rapist. Well, we all get what's coming to us. No sense in trying to avoid scarring a pretty face. Beauty is superficial anyway. I know that as well as anyone. No one deserves to be spared just because they're good-looking. Beautiful people should suffer just as much as anyone else. Beautiful people do suffer as much as anyone else. Take Aoi, for example. She's gorgeous, absolutely. You are definitely gay. And definitely my type, but she suffers endlessly at the hands of cruel stalkers and patrons. Okay. So she's in love with her best friend. That's a nice little twist on the story. Everyone suffers, beautiful or not. We all cop the crap we're dealt. So why fuss over a beautiful corpse? This guy or Aoi or even Tomoe on a good day. Beautiful people die the same way as the average person. The guy on my computer screen probably doesn't really deserve to die. I'm sure there's some petty reason his death has been requested. But I take all requests seriously. I won't turn a single one down. Corpse Girl's convictions will pave the way to her fame. With a smirk and a lick of my lips, I get to work. I've got a nice, clear photo here, so I can go all out on the crest. I hit up the DD, the database of the deceased, and spend some time selecting a suitable base image. I hesitate between choosing an image of a corpse with a knife in its throat or a body soaking in a bloody bathtub with its wrist slit. Either image would do just fine, but I really want something special for this latest victim. After all, I have to top my last success, right? Another 5 or 10 minutes pass till I gasp at cup. It is?
Yep.
Nice. And it just watered the lawn, too. Another 5 or 10 minutes pass until I gasp at it coming across the perfect photo. Thanks to my clever use of tags and filters on the DD, this image matches my victim's description perfectly. 20 to 30 years old, athletic build, male. The corpse's legs are severed below the knees. Bloody stumps leak their vital fluids from on high. The body is hanging from a set of power lines on some suburban street. It's perfect. Beautiful, even. It'll help me create a beautiful death for a beautiful person. I kind of have to question the story behind this photo. I wonder if the police ever investigated and discovered what happened to this sucker. Well, regardless, this will serve my purpose. I download the highest resolution copy available and save it to my hard drive. My fingers trace along the computer's trackpad with practice movements, clicking, tapping, dragging at random intervals. The night carries on. May 29th, Friday morning. My walk through the train station this morning is confident, cocky, self-assured. When I board the train, I even managed to take a seat for the first time in a while. I withdraw a worn book from my handbag and flip open the cover. There's a name scrawled in blue ballpoint pen on the first page, but it has become faded and illegible over time. I don't quite remember where I picked up this book. Maybe I discovered it at a second-hand bookshop. Who knows? I own so many obscure tomes that I can't be expected to recall purchasing every single one. Its aged cover and weathered spine both bear the same title. Photography, a comprehensive history of photo manipulation. The book is written in English, and it's a slog to work through with my limited knowledge of that language, but I like to skim through it primarily for the photographs contained within. The examples of early image doctoring from the centuries ago fascinate me. The book even features techniques and studies as recent as 1993 when it was first published. It's true that a lot of techniques discussed within are no longer relevant in today's digital age. However, there's a hearty section dedicated to the art of manipulating corpses' photos, something that I'm indeed very, very interested in. The most intriguing aspect of this section's content is that the featured artists perform the opposite kind of work that I do. Instead of manipulating images of the living to make them appear dead, the artists in the book edit images of the dead in order to make them look alive once more. In bygone eras, when photographs of people were taken few and far between, the sect of artists dedicated themselves to honoring the memories of the deceased. They did this by making the photos taken upon death look beautiful and full of life. These photos were gifted to family members and loved ones. The tradition makes sense. Imagine if you lost someone dear to you and you had no photographs of them. Wouldn't it be wonderful to receive one last memento, a beautiful image of the way you remembered them? Instead of using makeup to beautify a corpse, these artists applied a paintbrush and a pen directly to the photograph to seemingly bring the deceased back to life. The impressive aspect of this process is the way they illustrated the corpse's eyes to look full of life. Even though it's a far cry from the work I do, I can't help but feel some sort of kinship with the artists discussed in this book. Surely we are cut from the same cloth. Browsing through the images in this book inspires me to work hard at my own photo editing. Many of the pictures are in black and white, but to me, that only drives home how impressive these old techniques were. I finished flipping through the chapter and closed the book. I hold the tattered tome closed to my chest and breathe a sigh of satisfaction.
The next station is Shinjuku. The doors on the right side will open. Please change here for the Chuo line, the Shonan Shinjuku line, the Saikyo line.
I quickly stuff the book into my handbag and get ready to disembark the train. When I'm certain nobody's looking, I carefully open the lid of the large dumpster in front of me. The stench of rotten food and who knows what else assaults my senses, and I reflectively gag and splutter. The staff at the convenience store really needs to seal their trash in plastic bags before tossing it in here.
This is disgusting. I have to stop doing this.
The raised open lid locks into place at 45 degrees angle, allowing my now free hands to retrieve a small black object from my handbag. It is a flip phone, a cheap plastic thing with a shiny charcoal finish. I open it up and tap on the retro tactile keys, confirming that I've completely deleted all sent messages and photos. Nodding to myself, satisfied that I've confirmed my tracks, I eject the battery from the back of the casing and toss it in the dumpster. I then snap the photo in half along the hinge, separate the screen from the keypad. The screen crunches into pieces with a gratifying underneath my shoes. I retrieve the smashed parts from the asphalt, careful not to prick my finger on the sharp glass. With hardly a glance, I unceremoniously launch the broken parts of the phone into the dumpster. I clap my hands together to dust them off, then shut the dumpster lid and hurry away. I sidle between the brick wall of the convenience store and a narrow metal railing intended to keep people like me away from the dumpster. Now in front of the convenience store, I finally feel I can breathe deeply without fear of inhaling the toxic contents of the dumpster. I let my lungs take their fill before nonchalantly crossing the street. That takes care of my latest burner phone. Before leaving the office building, I crack the SIM card in half and dispose of it in a combustible trash. Now, with the phone itself destroyed and discarded at the different location, my mind is at ease. It had been slightly less than 24 hours since I messaged my latest victim, that athletic guy that I may have briefly fantasized about during my restless summer. My general rule of thumb is to keep a burner phone for exactly 24 hours after sending a photo. However, I made an exception today. I wanted to discard the phone early, clear my anxiety, and get a full... Ooh, thunder. And get a full night's rest tonight. Besides, it's not like anyone ever replies to the messages I send. I'd love it if they did, but it is what it is. So really, there's no point in holding on to evidence of my wrongdoing for longer than necessary. If memory serves, I wrote tomorrow's date at the latest victim's timestamp, May 30th, 10:31 a.m. If the victim may decide to kill himself today, of course. He could end up just like Akane Tsurumake. But if he's anything like her, he'll hold out until just a few hours before the designated time. He'll let panic and fear boil and build inside him until he just can't take it anymore. Or someone else will come along and end it all for him. I can't be sure.
Come with me and learn something.
I still don't know what happened to Ruri Hatano. Did she kill herself or did someone else snuff out her life? Either way, I'll start researching obituaries tomorrow. I'm confident that this will be another successful request. If it is, I'll truly be on the winning streak. With butterflies in my stomach, I cross the road. On my route home, I usually like to trek through the small park close to my apartment, provided the weather is decent. I avoid the park in the mornings as a lot of people walk their dogs, and I can't risk my allergies flaring up before I reach the office. Yep, she's a psycho. In the evening, the park is much emptier. I suppose I finish work a bit earlier than most people, so while everyone else is busy, I can enjoy the fresh air and scenery. I make my way along the neat, broad dirt path that connects one side of the park to the other. Wooden benches line the path at regular intervals, and at this time of the evening, it is common to see a homeless person or two using a bench as a resting place. This city has more homeless people than the general population would care to admit. I try not to think much of it as I walk by every day. I already know that many people have it worse off than I do, but there's not exactly anything I can do to help, right? Should I be giving these people money that I can't afford to spare? Wouldn't I just end up homeless as well? I'm not exactly broke, but I live month to month on my salary. It's expensive to live on the outskirts of Akihabara, and the commuting to Shinjuku every day isn't exactly cheap either. Then you add in electricity bills, phone, food. I don't eat unless I have to, but I'd starve if I didn't buy a meal every other day. And don't even get me started on the cost of coffee I drink. But if I'm lucky, I can score a can for 100 yen. But more often than not, I'm paying up to 150 for a single can. Even if I were to buy canned coffee in bulk from one of those huge variety stores like Don Coyote, I'd still only save a handful of loose change. And I wouldn't have access to the familiar selection I get at the convenience store. I'm just thankful that I don't go out for drinks after work like most of my colleagues. If I had to buy a few rounds of beer every week, my bank account would definitely dry up. By avoiding that kind of group outing, not only do I save money, but I'm also not forced to spend more time around people. It's a win-win situation. Realizing I'm trudging along the path at a snail's pace, I tell myself to speed up my gait. Toward the exit of the park, the silhouette of two people on the bench come into view. The sound of laughter carries in the wind, and I can't help but feel like I've heard the voices before. As I draw closer, a sinking sensation clutches at my stomach. I immediately get the urge to turn around, but I'm so close to home.
It's Noriko! Fancy seeing her here.
Noriko's here.
Tomoe and Shinya. Tomoe glares and flips her long hair behind her ear with a shit-eating grin on her face. Shinya looks kind of out of place outside of the office. His face is filtered by an especially uncomfortable expression. I start to wonder why these two are here, but then I recall that Tomoe did mention they were going on a date on Friday night. I suppose it's just my bad luck that I would run into them on the way home. Although, what are they doing here in Akihabara? I have to assume that Tomoe came here on purpose just to spite me.
On your way home?
How's your, date?
We're having a blast. Right, Chen?
Yes, of course. A great time.
Oh, he's not having a good time. I wonder if Tomoe has been dragging Shinya along against his will.
Okay, well, I'll leave you to it.
Hey, we're gonna grab some chicken. Why don't you come with us?
No thanks.
I can't think of any worse way to spend an evening than eating with Tomoe.
Please come with us, Noriko.
Shinya has a dejected look on his face. It's pitiful, but he brought this date upon himself. But he brought this date on himself, whatever. Why should I have to bail him out?
I've got things to do tonight.
Are you sure you're not just avoiding eating? Afraid to gain a bit of fat?
Ooh, more thunder. Honestly, don't know what to say to that.
Shen, you ever seen Noriko eat anything?
Well, now that you mention it, she never seems to eat at the office.
I eat at home, if that's okay with you.
It's not completely a lie. Sometimes I eat at home. Sometimes I don't eat at all.
Come on, come get some chicken with us. You can throw it back up or whatever afterwards if it makes you feel better.
She's starting to get on my nerves. I swear she tries to identify my flaws and insecurities just so she can rub them in my face.
Anyway, you're not being very nice to Noriko. Aren't you two supposed to be friends?
We're besties. Besties talk shit to each other, right, Noriko?
Right.
Huh. Fascinating.
Anyway, I'm going now. See you on Monday.
See you then.
Buzzkill. She's such a drag.
I let Tomoe's words hang in the air as I walk past her. I'm pretty annoyed that she dragged Shinya all the way here just to taunt me. Is this her idea of a good date? Does she care about Shinya at all, or is this whole thing just to annoy me? Tomoe dating Shinya doesn't even get under my skin. I don't have feelings for him at all. What does get under my nerves is simply the fact that Tomoe is trying so hard to get on my nerves. Of course, it wouldn't be fair if I could carry on my... Excuse me. Of course, it wouldn't be fair if I could carry on my way home without one final interruption. Tomoe calls out to me again.
Aoi is gonna start work with us on Monday, yeah? Oh, fun. I can't wait to meet a friend of Noriko's.
I grimace. I suppose Shinya told her about that. I turn back to face them
Don't
both.
even think about messing with Allie.
I'm sorry
Girl
to
has dealt with
interrupt,
enough
but
crap at her
is
last
the
job.
thing tethered down?
The gazebo?
Yeah.
It's got about 300 pounds of sand hanging on it.
Okay, because it's getting crazy out there.
Yeah, hold on. If the wind's picking up, then I'll just open the flaps.
Did you just hear that?
Yeah.
Like, this ain't funny.
I'm back. It's summer and we just had a lightning storm and a windstorm start, and I had to go out in the dark and get my gazebo flaps up and tight, and I couldn't see what I was doing. Come here, Snorlax. You're a little transparent today, aren't you?
Oh, has she? Maybe big, strong Noriko can protect her now.
I'd do anything for her. She's my best friend. If you had any friends of your own, you'd understand what that feels like.
Oh, I got plenty of friends. And only some of them are sluts like you.
Yeah. I'm going.
Holy crap!
That storm is right over us right now. I finally managed to disengage from the conversation, even with Tomoe's mocking laugh piercing the air. If the storm puts out the... is there a save? Or is it just... I'm gonna save, because I haven't yet. There, that way if... No, don't delete the file. If the storm shuts everything off, we're good. I finally managed to disengage from the conversation, even with Tomoe's mocking laughter piercing the air. I exit the park, cross the road, and walk down the block leading to my apartment. Tomoe, I have to wonder if that girl exists solely to irritate me. I have to tell myself she's not worth my time. I can't let her taunts get to me. Grin and bear it, as they say. That's what stoic, unflinching Noriko would do. Running a hand through my hair, I smile and approach my apartment building. Hello, Rocky. It's okay, Bubby. It's okay, Bubby. Don't be scared, puppy. It's okay, boy.